That's the.
Good. Thank you.
Nobody has anything on that.
Right, you just need that for the public announcements. No, the norm. But you know what? We have to start recording.
Well, it'll be
That just a
anytime.
public hearing.
We could record public hearings in the future. I just didn't feel like it was important.
Okay, well, I'm just wondering if you can let me know before you.
I meant like, yeah, so like, I already hit, because I didn't forget this time, but.
I know when Bill gets rowdy, we're gonna have to let him know so he can shut it off.
Yeah,
I might turn it off now.
because I don't know, like this little bit that we're talking right now, I don't know if people are gonna want to hear this on,
We can always go and you can start and you can hit mute.
well, I mean, I can stop, yeah.
Oh, you can
Yeah,
mute.
Yeah, I certainly could mute it, yeah.
Oh, okay, it's 6:30. Is your order? Pledge allegiance? Flag is still here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Verification of open meeting law.
I'll publish the website and post it on our front door.
Okay, thank you. Roll call.
Oh, now you're gonna think of which order.
Yes.
Now we got White first.
Here.
Pearlke,
Yes.
Jazinski,
Here.
Bose.
Yes,
Schaefer. Here. Kraus. And Topar.
Here. Any order changes on the agenda, or any corrections? Okay, thank you. Approval of minutes from March 10th, 2025, it's on your Chromebook. Move to approve.
Second.
And moved in second to approve the previous minutes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 7, public comments. Everyone can play. Fine moment.
Name Sophia Felix. I'm in 4th grade. I'm 9 years old, and I put a wheelchair in every park in Spencer. And I also raised money for a platform swing. And I just now raised money for a track zip line for $30,000. But I raised $45,000, and and they're putting up the platform swing, and I'm very excited about that. And the track zip line comes with installation and shipping, and with the extra money that we have, we're going to buy a donation sign, and our top donator is $10,000 from Greenheck, and $5,000 from Land O'Lakes.
Good. Anything else?
And inspiration.
Anybody have any questions for Cynthia?
No question, but you're doing an awesome job.
Yeah.
So last
we're
week,
proud of you.
we ordered the zip line. You didn't tell them the one zip line is got a handicap swing and the second zip line has a disc, so they'll be side by side. And so it depends where you guys find room for it. And it looks like from what we can visualize of the platform swing, is there cement going all the way around that? Okay.
Yeah, there'll be a 5-foot sidewalk border around it. It's a 30-foot square, almost square. It's a little rectangular. because of the hill there, but the guys are hoping to pour concrete on Wednesday.
And so who will really decide what the border is gonna be like around the zip line?
We haven't decided yet,
Okay,
because that's gonna be a much larger area. I think the zip line is 60 by 40.
60 by 40,
Yep, so I'm guessing that we're not gonna put sidewalk around that entire perimeter.
sure, sure.
But that's something that we have to talk about, what we're gonna
Sure.
use there.
So, Alicia has 2,800 left. And so hopefully we can get some kind of a sign for about 2,000, but there's still money coming in. So all that money will just put towards your ground cover, be it wood chips or whatever you decide, we'll just
Yep.
give that to you
Yep.
for whatever that cost is.
That'll be great. Yeah, I think they were looking at sourcing the wood chips locally.
So we'll probably get a few more thousand.
Sure.
So I'll go towards that.
Oh, that's great.
That's excellent.
On behalf of the village board, I want to commend you for all the hard work you've done over the last couple of years. And I heard that your dad took you to a conference or a convention someplace and you just wowed the people there and. Right, you did that, Fred? Yeah, I heard that about that. Congratulations, you've done an outstanding job.
Vegas.
Vegas. It's nice to know that we've got young kids that are willing to take the bull by the horns and get something done. Thank you. Okay, announcements.
Just the two public hearings we had, the twin home and the pet limit. Also some reminders about open book. The assessment roll will be open starting April 21st here in the office. The village assessor will be here on the 28th from 12:30 to 2:30. If any resident or property owner in town has a question about their assessment, they can talk to the assessor. And our first 2-hour meeting, Board of Review meeting will be on May 13th from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. That's all I had for announcements.
Public work.
For the wastewater, they treated 8.7 million gallons. They had a power outage at the treatment plant resulting in a callback. They experienced a power outage at Monroe Lift Station for a downed tree. Trevor passed his basic solid separation DNR exam. They've received odor complaints that they're working to resolve. They outlined the following solutions: reseal the manhole next to the hauler's pad, research and trial potential chemical options for odor control, investigate hauler logs due to not meeting their criteria greater than 16 weeks of pumping frequency. The water end of it, they treated 3.6 million gallons. Well one was pulled and cleaned with the pump replaced. The result of that, we were pumping at about 45 gallons a minute, and we're hoping to get 80 to 90. We're currently pumping at 110 to 115 gallons a minute, and I test pumped it at over 175 gallons a minute without too much drawdown. So the results of the cleaning and stuff worked really great. Pat and myself attended the WRWA conference, technical conference in Green Bay. Public Works, they started crack sealing. They started to sweep streets. They're about half done. Refinished the park signs, the wood signs with the names for each park. They refinished them. We took the ice rink down and they started cold patching. That's about it.
You think it'll take the ice rink down?
We're hoping.
Oops.
Any questions for John?
Yeah, John, what did you do different or on this water control problem? Can you explain what procedure they took to reduce the water?
Them are the three they're gonna start working on right here listed here. They're gonna try to reseal some of the manholes so they're not getting gases coming out of the manhole. And Ethan Nansen is gonna try some potential chemical treatments.
Okay, because we put the other bunker.
That bunker in there.
Still working?
It seems to be working.
Yeah, they replaced the filter material earlier this spring.
Yeah.
And that does seem to be working well. The problem is that we still have a few holes that we need to plug up at the plant level.
Okay.
He's ordered some diamond plate material to put over the channels. Right now, the channels have open grates on top of them. And we do have rubber mats over the top of those grates, but it's still in and out. We're gonna get plates on the outside splitter box, the outside by the big tank, the big circular tank in the back. And then try to repair the manhole next to the hauler's pad that's leaking a little bit. And then a perfume system is probably the next step after that. Wastewater plant was built with a perfume system originally, and it was never used because we didn't bring in hauled-in waste originally. So going back and getting something that we can use to try to take the edge off those odors will be the next.
You haven't had any spills by the haulers coming in? I mean,
When the haulers,
go into the system?
yeah, when the haulers dump, they unhook their hoses and sometimes some product does spill out on the ground. There's a open grate manhole right there to catch those spills. We designed it such that that manhole doesn't discharge to the collection system. It just goes back into the plant into a lift station. So there's no odors coming from that manhole normally. It's more like a storm sewer manhole or sanitary manhole. But yeah, when the truck's empty, sometimes they'll blow off the air off of their truck, and then those gases will come out and smell a little bit too.
Seemed like that was some of them.
Yeah.
Can you get them to get that on their way out, back on the road? Or-
Well, in order to unhook the hoses, they like to pressurize the system. We have asked them not to use air to pressurize the system, so that they're not creating more air pressure that they have to get rid of. Just gravity flow the tank only. So that helps a little bit, but they like to give a little bit of air at the end to make sure that the tank gets empty. So that does create a little bit of order there.
But if they spill, they clean it up and
Yeah, we have a garden hose there. If they get
wash
it,
it down.
yep, they can. And they are encouraged to do that because they have to walk through that area. So if they do spill, they will clean it up because they don't want to have to walk through.
So is there perfuming or chemical that put on the floor after they flush it?
Yeah, I don't think the odors there would, from what's spilled on the ground, are really the odors that are getting all the way across the neighborhood. That's more coming from the Headworks building. So after the trucks dump, that product flows by gravity in the Headworks building. And the screw pumps bring that up in grade. And that's where those gaps are in the system that Ethan's gonna try to cover up.
Good. Thank you both.
Any questions for John? Police chief's report.
All right, in the month of March, I attended the regular board of trustees meeting. And officers this month for training, they attended online safety training on various topics such as some of the personal protective equipment we use and some first aid stuff too. During the month of March, officers handled 220 calls for service, issued 26 citations, and issued 7 written warnings. And for the next topic, I kind of have an example of what we're going to be doing as a department for nuisance properties. These are 2 of them that we're going to be sending out. Then again, I would like to remind the public that the police department is going to be out checking properties and issuing notices and notice to correct any violations that are in violation of our nuisance ordinances. And those can be found, those ordinances and regulations can be found on our website under new laws. Under section 271-6. And finally, I'd like to recognize our this month. This year, she's starting her 10th year of service for the village. I'd like to thank her for her service to our community. Other than that, that's it.
Any questions?
We appreciate it very much.
Any questions for Sean?
This notice that you handed out here,
Yes.
this is one that you sent out already?
No, actually, we're gonna be doing that this week. We have approximately, I think 7 of them that we're gonna be issuing. There's gonna be 4 over at 300 South Haslow. That would be the mobile home park. We're sending notifications to the owner and the tenant of the lot.
And another one on East Maple Street, there's a duplex over there with some tires and some miscellaneous junk. And then, the other one is on North LaSalle Street.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, let's see the current response.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you. I have nothing on the president's comment. New business, item A, discussion and possible action on an application to exceed the pet limit for Bruce Rue at 504 South Adams Street. You already had your comments during the public hearing. Any concern?
Just for the record, we did not get any comments for or against from any of the residents that we mailed out
It sounds like you said this is a pretty good number.
notices to.
14.
14, yeah, everybody within a 300-foot radius.
Okay, sounds good. Any question, concern, comment?
If police department would get complaints in the future. Address it then. See see what we can do to.
I
Came
visited,
to our home.
I visited the resident, the family here
Sure.
and, discussed the ordinances, dogs barking, animals running at large. And, you know, if we get a complaint, that could be subject to, asking you to remove the dog. And then, the family did have a fence in the backyard that was not constructed.
It is
yet.
now.
And it is now. And just those things, those are things. Yes, and being a new family to town, there weren't obviously any complaints or anything like that.
I'll throw a party for everybody that was. And we'll get a new.
Any other questions, comments? Motion been made to approve this request, seconded, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Yay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks you guys.
Thank
Oh, thank you.
Do come in tomorrow or whenever you get a chance, to get that, license done because I don't think you have the other two licenses.
The other two are done and
Okay.
rabies.
He's got 6 months to get his rabies
Yeah,
shot.
yeah. Yeah,
So do
He's,
we,
he's only 3 months, 3 weeks.
you can license him now and then we'll record the rabies shot next.
okay,
week.
and then can we still pay the $5 then?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yep. Yep.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Item B, discussion possible action on a planning commission recommendation to allow a variance at 207 North Chestnut Street for a reduced setback from North Chestnut Street to accommodate a deck and stairs to access the front door.
They're, page 16.
No,
So, Paul was here at the planning commission meeting last week, just in favor of, his variance request. The planning commission did approve it. What he wants to do is put a new, porch on the front of the house facing to the east. This house on the corner of Chestnut and Mill used to have a handicap accessible ramp on the front. The new owners, or the old owners, with that ramp, and now there's nothing there to access the door, which is about 3 feet off the ground. So he wanted to put a 6-foot wide deck on the front. And 6 feet out from the house, 14 feet wide in front of the house, with steps that come down. It'll be about 5 feet short of the sidewalk, 5 or 6 feet short of the sidewalk with the steps. The planning commission, like I said, approved the variance request. I don't believe Sean had any
Yeah, if you go
concerns.
back to the previous map, on that road, if you guys aren't familiar with it, north and south traffic on Chestnut have yield signs. And None of those are affected by his project. The other east-west road, I didn't find that to be a problem. It's not controlled by any regulation signs. I think it's gonna be okay.
Motion to approve. Motion to approve, second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item C, discussion possible action on ordinance 25-1, Twin House, an ordinance amending section 480-21 and 480-22 of the Village of Spencer Code of Ordinances. And that's on 18.
So this ordinance will replace what we used to have in the code book was just a single sentence that said that it's permissible for a structure to be owned by multiple owners. And that was put in there to address at least one house that we had in town that meets the criteria of the twin home. We talked about that at the planning commission level. Figured out what we needed to do to be a little bit more specific in our ordinance about what we wanted to see. And the planning commission approved this. Our lawyers have looked at this and approved it as well. One thing that we did change since the planning commission looked at it is we realized that that section was addressed in both the R3 and the R4 zoning districts. So this ordinance now has changes made to both of those two sections.
Biggest thing we were concerned about is the ordinance says that that piece of property has to have a maintenance agreement between the two parties. Obviously, when a new home goes up, no big deal, but 10, 12, 15 years down the road, somebody will just use the roof. So that is part, when they buy it, they know that they gotta pay for half the roof. And that's all we're concerned about. They got separate water lines, separate.
They'll have separate water lines, sewer and water,
we
separate
specified
utility
that.
meters.
We've got enough of them problems, we don't need to add.
Yeah.
Any other questions, concerns? Then entertain a motion. So moved. Second. Then moved and second to approve the ordinance 25-1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item D, discussion and possible action on Spencer Community Boosters lease agreement for the art park. Becky is here. It's on screen 20. Who wants to lead this off there? Becky, what's your request?
I didn't request anything. I actually thought that we had a 20-year agreement that dates back to about like 2019. Prior to us doing any of the projects down there, we had a board meeting. And so there was an approval, but it sounds like maybe that's not documented appropriately, that it was just a continuation of our lease agreement and that it was 20 years at that point in time. But we can't, I don't remember like when the specific date was. Chris can't find it in the meeting minutes.
I found the meeting where I think that discussion was had.
Yeah.
There was no record of a motion,
Just reported
a draft agreement or anything like that.
Yeah.
In the record.
So we're just cleaning that up, basically.
The current agreement ended in 2017 and then was not auto renewable. So this would just get us back up to date. We talked about this at a Parks Committee meeting. My recommendation was to increase that electricity. Because I have noticed that the electric bills have gone up a little bit over time.
I think it's just due to more use.
Well,
I mean-
even in the months where, you're not using the facilities, we're typically over $50 worth of electrical
Mhm.
consumption. So I thought it maybe made sense to get that up to the first $75. Eventually the pickleball court people might have lights back there too. So
Yeah.
that would help cover.
Yeah, yeah.
What do we need to, what we? Rewind.
The
What are
only,
we gonna be voting on tonight?
the only other question that came up at the Parks Committee meeting was the length of the term. If I remember right, the Parks Committee thought 20 years was a little long.
And the reason we looked at 20 years being too long is in a case where if this body of trustees would be totally different 20 years from now, we may run into a problem. Okay, because we could have no idea what, so that's pretty lengthy down the road for that.
I don't think we're really at risk, Harry. If you want to do 5 years, I don't really think we have any problem with that. If you want to just revisit every 5 years, that's fine.
I can send you some language that I use in mine. It says, and basically, if you want to do 5, you do, this lease shall be for 5 years. Upon termination of lease, this lease shall auto renew for an additional 5 years. You have 30 days from the expiration of lease to object or change it, and if you don't, it just automatically kicks over for another 5.
Yep.
And that's the way I write my leases for my towers. Works well. Trust me, it costs a fortune to find that language, but it's the legal way to do it. You put that way. That way, if there's not a objection, it's a rubber stamp. We don't have to do nothing. It just runs over.
Yeah, we actually, our sewer use agreements with Land O'Lakes and FPC are written similar.
So the last time this was approved was what year?
Well, the original 3-year lease ended in 2017.
Okay. So if we approve a 5-year year lease with the addition of what Jeremy said, when would that 5 years be up?
We'd start it now.
Start it now, okay.
It's be in 2030.
Okay. Any comments?
I think we should go $75 on the electric bill too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we got, everybody understand? 5 years and $75 on the electric.
5 years with a auto
With an auto
renewal, unless and you put it in, make sure we put in there that it's 30 days from expiration of lease. So you have that wiggle room in there that if there would be an issue that it could be rediscussed. But if there's not, and I don't see that it will be, then it should just flip over.
So what about the other issue we talked about? If someone else wants to use the shelter out there.
What, I can't, jogging my mind, I can't remember what we.
So the question is, let's say,
Frankie's not using it.
yeah, and somebody wants to just use the shelter for a family gathering.
Yeah, they just contact us, so that falls under the piece of the lease agreement that is under the rental of so we charge $100 to rent the park, and then that we make sure that the bathrooms are stocked and cleaned and, because we do all the cleaning.
Right.
And then we, like hopefully they empty the garbages, but very rarely do they empty the garbages. So then that takes care of somebody going up and emptying the garbages. And so it's basically just like covering the bathrooms
And so the question was, who did they
and
contact?
the electric meter. Yeah.
Okay. So Deb needs to know that.
How often do you do that?
Last year, we probably did quite a bit because there's like the one Mennonite church plays ball down there. And like the $100 probably covers their lights. We let them use the lights, I mean, they're pretty responsible. So it's not a big worry, so it's like we have I unlock it and then they lock everything up, turn all the lights off at the end of the night, so like it's very possible we take a loss on those. Those lights are kind of expensive, but it's probably a wash. And then, and then it's just the bathrooms, and then they just close the door, like lock it from the inside and close it when they leave. Sure.
So
I mean, if I were to guess, I would say maybe like, I think 350 for rent last year was brought in. It wasn't like a whole lot.
So then if, well, I'll just use the pickleball. So if they held a tournament, would they be allowed to use the concession stand?
They're not allowed to use the concession stand because it has our license and
Food license.
our stuff, our products on it. But they could, if they wanted to, but although I don't know why they would want to, do it way down there, they could do it under the shelter. And that would be allowed, like that would be fine. That's what, baseball teams have done, like if they've had something down there, they've just done it outside. But for pickleball, I would think that they'd want to do it down where they are. And I don't know what electricity looks like down there. I mean, we have electricity on some of those poles that they could run like an extension cord.
Yeah, that hasn't been ironed out yet.
Yeah, so I don't know that, like if you're gonna have a pickleball tournament down there, you're gonna want your stuff where they are because people aren't gonna walk away from where they are usually. Like I wouldn't see that happening anyways. But yeah, we have all of our.
Well, even
You gotta walk a mile.
I have offered to run concessions and give them a cut if they wanted to have pickleball tournament. I've also offered to help them organize one during like a youth tournament, because there's not a whole lot of risk of like getting hit with baseball in a youth tournament, like very rare, like the home run fence for 10U tournament is like in like 50 feet at least, like so and they don't hit that many home runs. So there's not a risk of it going over like the tall fence, like the softball play, like the men's league softball players hit bombs all the time. So I have offered that, like if they wanted to do it at the same time, they could have a donation back, but that has not been. No, I don't want to say well received. I just don't know that they have the.
They don't have anybody that wants to run one.
They don't have anybody who wants to run one. So I offered to.
To organize
it.
Yeah, that's the big problem right there, finding somebody to organize.
You guys got a key for the building that's on there for emergencies?
In case
Yeah,
of
we
you
have a
being
copy of all.
not available, is there a plan for the key? If you were out of town or if you couldn't make it?
The
or-
village has one.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, good. Okay. Sounds good.
And I think, and Terry must have a key for the bathrooms, which we'll have to
You'll have new
revisit.
ones anyway.
We'll have to revisit, because I'm sure we'll end up probably replacing certain things, because when the doors get moved, who knows if the things still work the same. So we'll see what happens there.
What's that?
Did we already vote on it? My name is.
No, we would need a motion,
Just a quick question. It says Spencer community will have unlimited access to the park except where special events are scheduled, preventing open access. Notice of these special events will be posted at the park by the Spencer community boosters.
I don't think that's ever really happened.
Okay.
The only thing.
It's not written real. I mean, it's not written well.
Yeah, it would be just like if there was a band and you're
Right.
charging a cover.
Yep.
I think that was probably why that was maybe written.
Yeah, I think.
But really that park's never really been closed other than if somebody has it rented,
Right.
then they.
Just say it's just probably got to be rewritten
Oh,
the
that was-
language.
That was that other question about that sign.
Yeah, and I was gonna bring that up. Did we address the signage at both the boosters and at the pickleball area?
I went up there and I didn't see a sign.
It's in the black case.
Okay.
That's pickleball.
What's the sign saying?
That's the one where it says you can't smoke here, you can't drink here, you can't swear here, you can't have,
And no carry on.
no carry-ins, which is, it's a park. You gotta allow that. You can't tell people they can't swear in a park. You can't. I mean, if there's a private event, we can have a sign that says no carryings during my event, but if it's not, your event's not going on, we can't limit people from carrying.
During our operation.
But during operations, you can absolutely limit it. You can't have a sign that says no carry-ins,
Yeah, well.
or, no
I
carry-ins.
think that may have come down.
I just want to make sure we address it, because I know
I
they
did not see one at the
had
end.
an ordinance
You
on that.
had one originally, or you did last year.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's not there.
I feel like, we can have it we can have it changed. I think I said you tell me what to have it changed to and we'll have it changed. If you just wanted to say.
It just can't say per village ordinance.
Right.
Yep, during it.
Games,
Yep,
blah,
schedule.
blah, blah.
Scheduled events. It's something where we don't get in trouble because we're not letting people use a park.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I can see during the day when they want to
Yeah,
have.
and that's just want
there.
to make sure we don't catch the flack from having an illegal sign.
Yeah,
That's, pickleball people are having
Yeah,
the same problem.
Pickleball, the sign is still there. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about, I'm like, holy crap. I don't know who you guys think you are. You can't do all that.
That'll be another issue,
Yeah.
the item right here is just dealing with.
Yep, that's
Community
this one.
booster, so, do we have a motion on this yet?
No.
Okay, I need a motion to approve, 5-year lease agreement and the $75.
I'll make a motion to approve a 5-year lease with an auto renewal and a $75 increase for the power. Expense.
All in favor of that, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Just have to go, Becky.
do you guys want an update on the bathroom project since I'm here? Okay. So all of the old concrete, well, so the room is gutted. That would be from the concession stand all the way to what was the women's bathroom. So there was a women's, there was a men's, there was the concession stand. So that's all gutted. The walk-in cooler area is a big problem right now. Everything's rotted, so we are replacing sill plates and studs in that, like, I think the way it sounds is that entire corner of where the walk-in was.
From condensation from the walk-in or?
Oh, I'm sure.
There wasn't a roof leak.
No, it was conversation.
It was two things. It was, I'm sure, condensation. It's also, there's some drainage issue that the water is like flowing towards that building. So now we are also cutting out concrete, putting in drain tile and rerouting water around the building to hopefully prevent that issue like
From the
moving
ballpark side?
forward. Yeah, Hunter told me the problem. I said, do what you would do. Here's some money. So I know that he said, I'm cutting things tomorrow and then stop down and look at the sidewalk because we are also putting the sidewalk back in. And at some point in time, there was some sidewalk cut out. So we're removing the sidewalk and putting new sidewalk in so that it's not that, there's a trip hazard there, like in between, especially that, in a big hole where the toad comes out. Scares me every night. So the toad getting killed if he's down in that hole. I wish I was lying every night. So poured, we got the rough in, we got the new concrete inside poured. We've got all of that damage being taken care of. My guess is that we probably will halt the project as soon as that bathroom's done, that we're not gonna do the siding either this year or just not until the fall. Like there's no time to do it. It can't be a construction zone when the kids are there anyway. So regardless, it has to wait, but it just depends on funding and whether we can afford to redo the outside of it. But we're kind of like leaning towards getting that done this fall. But basically what we'll have when all is said and done, we're just gonna we're gonna put up one wall in the middle, which leaves us with a really big men's room and a really big ladies' room. We have this supporting wall that has to go in because we think that maybe they just cut out the rafters and put the announcing booth on at one point in time. And then so there's a load bearing wall that we didn't know about. So that's going back in and then, but luckily, happily, the urinals are now gonna be behind the walls, so no one can see everything everybody has to offer when they're using the restroom. So it actually was a happy
Right
little.
way of saying it, yeah.
Like, oh, that's what we can do behind that wall. That'll be okay. And then the ladies' room will have 3, like an ADA and then 2 other stalls that are bigger than normal, but not ADA. So it'll be 1 ADA. And then it's pretty big, like, it's pretty big area. So the men's room will have an ADA stall, 3 urinals. The ladies' room will have 3 stalls then. So should be pretty good when we're done. And then we'll do the same siding that is on the rest of it. So it'll all be one cohesive.
You're leading be starting.
We start our 12U tournament for boys and girls are like the June 7th and 8th.
You'll have that in the village voice, as you always do, don't you?
I think so. Or we put it on Facebook. We put all the events out there. That, I think it's the week before that the park actually opens. So we're pushing pretty hard to get everything done. The only thing that we have to do is touch base with Anderson Electric to do whatever they have to do.
I did ask Mark to make sure he puts in enough breaker or enough space so that we can get a dedicated line out to the pickleball court.
When he does it,
Yeah, he said that wouldn't be a problem.
okay.
Not
I don't know.
not to run a line or anything out there.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
to
no.
make sure that there's enough space in the new box.
Yeah, but if you did. How are they gonna run that
I
line?
have no idea.
Like, how is that even possible?
He's thinking that at some point, knowing what the how the light cables were buried in the scoreboard, that at some point those are gonna fail because he thinks that they were put in pretty shallow and pretty rough. So he's thinking probably at some point, one big project to just replace all that wiring for the lights and the scoreboard and the pickleball court all at one time.
Go around, like around the.
Go around the whole outside of the fence.
Yeah,
I don't know where if the original lines go underneath the play area or not.
yeah, because I was gonna say they can't even run like from one of those tall lights over there because you have to turn on the tall light, the breaker,
To get the
to the
power.
tall light to get the power to it. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah, it's not separate.
No. Yeah, that's a difficult one. I mean, we already ran, I mean, maybe what the easiest, I don't know, easiest. I don't know if this is even a thing, but easier would maybe be to go from our box in the concession stand over. Because that would be a shorter distance unless he's already got to dig stuff up and trench, but that's
We'll leave it to Mark.
Yeah, he'll figure it out first.
Okay, you guys have done a great job. Is there by chance anything left up in the old Arnolder's booth from when the art club had it? I'm thinking of a file cabinet. Is there anything up there? Okay, I'll check with Sharon Cobb. What I'm looking at, Kenny Newman, when this first got started, and then we go up and get an aerial view of the land, the area, the dump. And it would be nice if we could find that picture to have that posted someplace. What that was.
Here,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's doing.
there,
Okay.
Ron might
have
have.
it up at yeah, it's nice to have.
I'll check it around. Okay, I just wanted, it'd be nice picture to have.
There's not really
Okay.
anything when I know, like, if we would have seen that, that would have been like, wait, that's probably important.
Okay.
Lots of old light bulbs though.
Now I know where to go to the next question. Thank you.
Thanks, Maggie. Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah, it's an area view shows the road going in and everything.
I know what that looks like.
Up here. I know what it looks like. Unfortunately, we can't put our minds up on a
Picture.
board. Yeah, well, next week it'll.
Give him a pen, he can sketch it.
Okay, moving on. Item E. Discussion and possible action on a Parks and Building Committee recommendation to approve a proposal from North Central Regional Planning Commission to update our outdoor recreation plan for a cost of $6,500.
In order to apply for grants that I want to apply for the band stage bathrooms, the DNR requires us to have an updated outdoor recreation plan. So the planning commission did approve or did recommend approving updating that plan.
What should approve?
I'll second it. Didn't it? Well,
Yeah.
all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Keep forgetting about Pat. Motion's carried. Item F. Discussion possible action on the utility committee recommendation to purchase a flail mower attachment for the tool cat from Miller Tractors for a cost of $3,144.97.
Another thing that was approved by committee and budgeted for last year, or budgeted for this year. Will fit on the back of the toolcat and allow us to. It's a bit easier. A little bit nicer.
Motion to approve. Motion's been made. And seconded by Pat. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. On to page 2. Discussion possible action on the purchase of a workforce accounting software module to track water inventory items at an initial cost of $2,900. That's page 25.
So we haven't talked about this before, but we've been scratching our heads in the office trying to figure out how we're going to keep track of all of the new stuff on the water side, primarily the lead inventories and the cross control inspections that have to be done. We have to track as well. And Workhorse, which is the company that supplies us our accounting software and also our utility billing, has a utility inventory module that can be added to the package. They came here and did a demo of the unit. John and I and Deb sat in for the demo and think that this would be a really nice way to track all of those different things. Right now, we're tracking them on different spreadsheets, and it's almost impossible to cross-reference those spreadsheets. So this would be a database that would include all those things.
It's a one-time fee or yearly?
It's one-time fee. The $2,900 is to buy the module, and then it is $600 a year maintenance. So we have each module that we have has a maintenance cost associated with it. So the accounting module, the utility billing modules are also $600 a month, or $600 a year.
So this cost is gonna make the office function a lot better.
Yeah. The biggest thing is that when we have new people come into the village, we're supposed to communicate to them whether or not their property has been inventoried yet for that lead. And that's one of the things that our systems can't really do right now is make it easy for us to determine who is and hasn't been already inventory. So this would come out of the water department's budget. Sorry, John.
So, I move to purchase Workhorse water.
Inventory.
Inventory
Module.
Okay.
So I do have a question. So I see a lot of municipalities are selling their brass meters. And you told me that we can't use brass meters anymore.
We can't put them back in. We can't reinstall them.
Are you seeing them on the auction sites?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
We looked at it this way, if it's a DNR saying we can't put them in somebody's house and we sell them, it's like a liability saying, we can't give them to Tom, but we'll sell them to you. So we just recycle them. We take them apart. We take Nebraska First Choice Recycling and that's, we looked at a thing, if it's illegal for us to put them into a house, but we sell them for somebody to use, we kind of thought that was a
We have sold,
conflict of interest.
we have sold some of them. We sold them to Willow Court, not Willow, I apologize, Mowers Court.
Years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't purchased any in probably
No,
20 years.
Yeah.
Something like that. We sold them to them when it was still legal to put them back into houses. But the DNR has since said we can't put the brass meters back in, so we've been for the last 10 years replacing with a plastic.
Shut off valves in the brass, it's like.
so nothing is zero lead, but except for plastic maybe, so.
well, these brass meters don't have any lead in them.
They have 0.0001% lead in them.
And so with a brass valve.
Exactly.
I mean,
The plastic stuff.
Probably worse stuff than plastic.
Okay.
Yeah, so Al, that was kind of our process.
I just saw it and I go, really? Well, why don't we sell ours? And you answered my question. Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and second to approve this motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item H. Yeah, item H.
Yep.
Discussion possible action on a 3-year contract from Town Web for a new website for a year. For a year, one cost of $2,520 and year 2 and 3 cost of $1,220 each.
So Deb, Sean and I looked at a bunch of different websites, different suppliers that would come in and do our website for us. The really expensive packages were the ones that would come in and do a custom site, top to bottom, everything brand new. Those were prohibitively expensive, $10,000 to $15,000 to do those sites. A couple companies, Revise and Town Web, offer templated sites. So basically, they've designed a number of different templates that they sell as a package, and they can customize those to fit whatever community that they're going to be in. And of the two different companies, Revise and Town Web, we like the Town Web design a little bit better, and also the tools that they have for communicating with our residents a little bit better. Otherwise, the prices were basically the same for the two different companies. So this is the Town Web proposal. Includes $1,000 worth of startup, which are the first 3 items circled on the page. And then after that, it's the $1,520. Right now, we spend about $800 a year on site maintenance for our existing site. So that would be comparable to the $1,220 per year with Town Web. The extra fee for $300 per year is the Facebook syndication. So when we make a post to our website, it will automatically get pushed to Facebook. So if we have an event or we have something that we post to the website, if it's John's consumer confidence report, or if it's an update to a web page, that'll automatically get pushed to Facebook. So we don't have to worry about that step.
Super question. Do we know how many hits we get on our website?
We will with the new one. The biggest thing that I like about the new websites, both Revise and Town Web, had these options, was what they call their citizen communication platform. So basically, everybody that wants to can opt into the citizen communication platform and can get push notifications for whatever events they want to sign up for. So if somebody wants to know when our board meetings are, when we have special events like music in the park, or, we'll basically have a laundry list of things that we could post that they could sign up for. Then they'll get those push notifications automatically so that they'll know that something new went on the website. The website can also be used for emergency communications. So that same communication portal, you'll be able to sign up for emergency communications. So if we have a water main break, or if we have a storm that's coming through, we push those emergency notifications out to people.
Dome being open.
If we open up the dome for a tornado warning, and you can sign up just for the emergencies if you don't want all the other stuff, or you can sign up for everything. But that's one of the things that I was really looking forward to, especially considering we were paying $3,000 a year for Code Red, and it wasn't doing really what we needed it to do. So my biggest goal with this package was to keep the costs under what we were paying Code Red for, because this will get us the new website. It'll be mobile friendly. It will be ADA compliant, and it will also have Google Translate on it, so we can people will be able to read our website, the main parts of our website, in whatever language they want to.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item I, discussion possible action on a North Star environmental testing proposal for asbestos and lead inspections of well house number 3, not to exceed $1,760.
So we had someone inquire about the demolition of well house number 3. The same company that took the house down for us on North LaSalle last year. And the first question they had was, what's it look like for asbestos and lead? And for a commercial property or for a public property like this, the DNR actually requires that inspection to be done before a building is demolished. So we could tell every prospective bidder that they would have to do that assessment and remediation. Or we can do it up front, and then the bidders will know what they're getting into when it comes time to do that
Let's take care of it ourselves.
demolition. So yeah, that was my recommendation, to just hire that done. So then every bit, all the bidders will know exactly what's there.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. All right.
Been made motion and second to approve this. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item J, discussion possible action on a proposal from Star Environmental for biosolid land application soil evaluations not to exceed 15,000.
One of the problems we've had for a while now is finding enough to do our biosolids applications on. The DNR has gotten more strict over the years as far as the soil conditions and the drainage on fields we can do biosolids applications on. Combined with the fact that we're now down to one property owner and one farmer with, yeah, one, just the one. And we have a great relationship with both the property owner and the farmer. And I don't expect that to change, but it would be nice to branch out a little bit and have some more cushion there. We knew, and I had talked to Ethan about this even before I moved up here, was that the best route would be to hire a soil scientist to help us find this land, because none of the land in our area qualifies based on the soil surveys that are already done by NCRS. And so the DNR rejects all of the applications immediately because they're non-conforming based on the soil surveys that were done. But if we hire soil scientists to go in there and determine locally for a specific field whether or not it meets that criteria, then that would trump the generic soil survey. So Ethan has identified a number of fields that he would like to have looked at. Star Environmental gave him a cost of $12,000 to look at those fields. Since he got this proposal, one of the landowners that he was looking at has actually died. And so that land is up in question right now, if that would be included in this or not. And one other landowner approached him with interest in getting it done. So he recommended that we let Star Environmental spend up to $15,000 to do whatever Ethan basically can come up with for that amount of money. The scope of their work, they come out, they basically do a tabletop examination of all the information, and then they come out and they dig a hole. They dig a bunch of holes and they monitor how long it takes those holes to fill up with groundwater. Then they do all of their other soil assessments. They'll do soil testing. pH is an issue that we have in this area. There's a lot of farmers in this area don't lime the way they probably would if we were in a more cash croppy heavy area. So they would do all of that work for us. And then we would get the DNR approval. They would not submit anything to the DNR that wouldn't be approved.
I think we need to have it happen.
Make the motion. Have Stern do the
Motion by Joe,
yeah for 15,000.
a second,
Second.
and seconded by Jeremy. Roll call on this?
Yeah, I guess we'll do White,
Yes.
Karolfi,
Yes.
Kaczynski.
I object.
You object?
It's got DNR's name on it again.
Hose,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Tofar.
I don't like 3 dogs.
Yeah, more here.
One more, Pat.
Oh, Kraus, sorry. You are, you're still here. You're still here. Much appreciated that you're still here.
Yes, sir.
And yes, I'm.
Item K. Discussion possible action on advertising for a bid for the paving of North LaSalle from 808 North Pacific Street to 900 North Pacific Street and various patches.
Not terribly surprised, but when I went to American Asphalt for estimates on the work that needed to be done this year, it came in over, $20,000 that we need to bid for, so, which they knew too. So I would like permission to just put that out for bids.
Who are you going to?
Last year, we put it in the paper and we did get one other bid beside American. I don't remember.
Wasn't it Eagle and you were way high?
Yeah, I think it was Eagle. Yeah,
I'll get one from you.
Marwood is now doing blacktop.
Okay, I would say, I would have a problem with Eagle, because they
Sure.
don't stand behind.
I think that's in there. Well,
yeah, well, we'll see, but just because of the price, we are required to put it out for bids. Did we have?
We have a motion by second by Al. All in favor of this, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item L. Discussion possible action on allowing the clerk to dispose of 4 unused Chromebooks.
I've been moving these around for a while now.
Do you really need this motion? Something like this? What's that?
City asset.
Really need a motion for?
I
something like this?
just didn't, you guys bought these, I didn't want to just throw them away. These have been unused in the box, for a number of years now. The, going rate for these on Amazon is about $25. If we had another one break, I would not recommend using these. I know the one that Al uses is actually much smaller, screen size than the ones that we've got up here right now. So I'd probably recommend just getting ones
Well,
more similar to the ones.
Just
that we
I'd
have.
say we get rid of it and then we just need to look at our plan to replace.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem like we've had these things for
You've had these for 8 years.
That's.
Fair amount of time.
They were, they
Six
were,
to 6 or 8 years.
yeah, the literature that I've got for these suggests that they have a 10-year lifespan.
Yeah, I mean, it is something we gotta put in the budget that, they're gonna have to be replaced. So they don't get used a lot, but
Yeah, they're, a new one, something around $200 to $300.
yeah, it's not terribly
That's
expensive.
they are.
Chromebooks are
I
cheap.
mean, yeah, I'll make a motion if you need it. I mean, it's like, just get rid of them.
Yeah.
I have actually approached, Kids Group
Kids group.
most recently to ask if they were interested in them. I did approach Rookie Rockets, and the school's IT department said we'd rather not accept strange hardware into our system. So that's when I went and I suggested it to the kids group.
Reformat it and be done with it.
Well, they haven't even been
Turned on.
or activated in it. So, but they are literally 7 years old as far as.
Yeah,
the
they're getting
hardware
old.
is. So,
So give them the kids a
Yeah.
group. They'll use them.
yeah.
Well, if nobody wants them, just take them to Good Millers. I'm pretty sure I seen one at a thrift shop down here.
Oh, yeah.
We'll mail them down to you.
Yeah, mail them down. There you go.
Like I said,
Our thrift shops fast.
I just didn't want to get accused of throwing away good
Yeah,
stuff.
get rid of them.
Tom has made a motion to give Chris permission.
Yeah. Second.
Second by Jeremy, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item M. Discussion and possible action on the approval of Board of Review appointments.
So this year, according to the rotation, Harry. So actually, Harry would wait their appointments subject to the board's approval.
And what date is that again?
13th. May 13th.
13th, about a year from,
April.
no, we got May 13th,
May 13th.
6 to 8.
6 to 8.
Yeah, it's
I
like
gotta
that's
go to the next month,
a nice long meeting, like
May 13th, yep.
Yeah, where we go through every.
go through every property in town.
property.
Yep.
It's exciting.
Yes, it is.
Maybe you should paint the wall so you can watch the drive.
I had already gotten, I think, email confirmation that it did work for both Al and Phil.
Yeah, okay.
So we would just need a motion.
Motion needed to approve this.
Motion to approve.
No second, all in favor, say aye.
Right.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion possible action on a 6 month Class B beer license for Spencer Community Boosters at 501 North South Street, effective May through October 2025.
This is a weird one. We just give them a 6 month, saves them $25. It runs odd times compared to our other ones, so next month we'll approve all the other, or the other licenses, so we have to do out of order.
Your motion?
Yeah, a motion to approve.
Motion. Second by Pat, all in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion possible action on a temporary operator's license for Lindsay Hendrickson.
Did we skip?
Yeah, you skipped the other.
I'm sorry,
For you.
let's back up a little bit. Cross it out. No wonder. Discussion and possible action on a temporary Class B beer license for Spencer Kids Group for Mother's Day bingo event on Sunday, May 11th, 2025, 117 East Clark Street.
Move.
I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now, discussion of possible action on a temporary operator's license for Lindsay Hendrickson.
This one actually did not get submitted. Tracy Ackman has already got a full license and she's going to be the licensed operator for their event, so.
Okay.
We don't-
need
We don't need it.
Nope, we don't.
Okay. Looks good.
I included it because I wasn't sure who was gonna do it.
Okay. Item 13. Discussion and action. Voucher.
Who got t-shirts? And what were they?
Police departments.
Yeah, out of the uniform allowance purchased.
I'm just curious if there was some logo on it, what it looked like, or.
Yeah, it was for the officers that participated in the Special Olympics basketball game.
Yeah.
Got t-shirts that signify we're the police, so.
Where the police.
Yeah, we're the police.
I will venture out and ask this question, but who won?
Police department came close, but.
And next fight, did it go in overtime?
That I don't know.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do that. Try to.
Donkey basketball.
We did
Oh,
that.
God, I'd never do that again.
So that was,
They're fun to watch, but they're rough
Yeah.
on the floors.
yeah, they are, even with the rubber boots on them.
Was the referee impartial?
It's on the tape.
He was fair for that's for sure.
Okay, back to the voucher.
Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Motion to approve the vouchers as.
Second.
Motion's been made, second by Norman. Roll call on this.
White,
Yes.
Brophy,
Yes.
Zinsky,
Yes.
Hose,
Yeah.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
and Tofar.
Yes.
It was nice to see this dollar amount a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they weren't committed, that we had to have roll call on.
Well,
And then that we don't have, they're gonna decide, right?
always on. vouchers, Still.
Okay, clerk's report.
The building reports or building permits rather, are listed in the report. There was one duplicate, so just realize that, General Farm Supply came in and renewed their permit for their bin cluster, not their bin. So that's actually a duplicate. It'd be nice if they were putting in another one.
Yeah.
But no. Otherwise, Harrison Capital's got a new house going in and the Alts have a new house going in on the other side of town. And Alpha Products Process has a new storage building going up as well. So those are the big ticket items on this list. Other than those, the Lions Club started their shelter edition. Probably noticed that when you drove by. And our crew has started the installation of Everyone Can Play swings. We have not heard any bad news about the switch to the billings, the the regular paper bills and envelopes that we send out for water, sewer, gas, and recycle, garbage and recycle. We did get some good news from the DNR that they're hoping to be able to award the grant for our shooting range, soon. Everything was.
When I say
The last step was getting, Fish and Wildlife to sign off on the environmental assessment, and they did that. And so, the money should be, released soon. We've also started our lift station and well projects again. Those are underway. We have not started anything on Park Street yet, but, that's basically just the last layer of asphalt and then site restoration. And no update on OCR yet.
band stage, that'll be done by May 7th.
That is the plan. We don't have that guaranteed, but the last thing that helped us get closer to that deadline was selection of some material. The original car siding we got came in, I think, 20 length boards that they had to, cut up to install. They were able to buy some product that comes pre-cut. It's like 3 foot to 8 foot sections, so there'll be a little bit more seams. But they were able to make sure that they could get that product sooner than the regular lumber. So, and when I looked at that pile out there, there was a lot of short boards in there anyway. I don't think we'll really notice those extra seams like that. So,
As long as it stays up.
Any questions for Chris? Okay, committee report, finance personnel. No report. Utilities equipment.
Oh, we did meet. Decided to raise the building. A lot. Nobody was here, so should be.
Okay, thank you.
And we, talked about the frail mower. I don't think there was anything else that was there.
No.
Nope. So. What we done did.
Thank you. Park and Boat, no report. Health and Emergency Government, Pat.
No report.
Economic Development, Main Street,
No report.
and Streets and Sidewalks.
So, are we doing any chip sealing?
Yep. I haven't done anything yet on that. We did budget for it. That is the plan. But no, I haven't done any upfront work yet on it.
And then I was talking to Hunter Rettner. Any discussion about that culvert on School Street?
Yeah, actually, the guys were looking at replacing that. They got excited. They went to a class last Friday or Thursday. Thought that maybe the county would be able to help us with that. As it turns out, the village of Spencer opted out of participating in the county's culvert program.
How long ago was that?
It was 2007. And the reason they did that was because, from what I can understand, is that we just didn't have the number of culverts that were eligible. Like townships have a lot of culverts in them. And so the townships all participate, but not as many cities and villages do. You get assessed an extra, I don't remember what the number is, but you have basically, that program is funded by tax dollars. And so the villages parcels would all get assessed like 0.01 of a mil or something like that on their tax rolls in order to participate in that program. And so the village decided at the time that there wasn't enough value in joining that program because we don't have that many culverts that the county would actually help us replace. So like this culvert is anticipated to cost us around $5,000 to replace. And that's the only culvert I've ever.
I'm sure we would have spent more with this program going back that far.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the ditch from 13 to this culvert, are we going to clean that out?
It's my understanding that Hunter's gonna take care of that. I have not applied for a permit to do that work, as I have for the one for the art park.
So are we gonna keep, when it gets down to School Street, are we gonna keep that offset in there? Cause it comes from 13, then it goes up north about 100 feet and then it crosses.
We would almost assuredly keep that there.
Well, how do you get your pitch?
Well, I
You're
guess,
going back uphill.
yeah, I'm not arguing with you from that perspective, but to locate a brand new culvert in a new place in the road would require a different permitting procedure with the DNR. We can replace it, an existing culvert, but if we want to put a new culvert in a new place,
Shut that off.
it's a
How many frickin' DNR things we got on here tonight?
Watching.
You can't count them. Oh, I know. Every time we turn around, the DNR decides they need more money.
Told you I had their cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I make a
let's do
motion.
that all important adjournment. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Then move to second to adjourn, all in favor, say aye. Opposed. Motion carries, we are adjourned. Pat, thank you for
Pat.
coming in on it.
Have a good night, fellas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have fun.